So today we're going to talk a little bit about Caitlin Clark and Team USA and what are her predictions, what way she feels about it, and in general, what to expect from Caitlin Clark with Team USA. I am very, very confident I would be shocked if Caitlin's not playing this specific role. And I do also think that I'm not going to say we're going to be disappointed in what Caitlin Clark does, because these Team USA games are barely games. Like it is a qualifying tournament for a tournament they've already qualified for. These are barely basketball games, and if there is a full crowd there, you better believe against the likes of Senegal, against the likes of New Zealand, when it doesn't matter, we are going to be seeing a lot of early shot clock 30-foot bombs from Caitlin Clark. Like, we're going to be seeing a lot of that early on. But in the games that matter, in terms of actually like selection for the World Cup squad, the Italy game and the Spain game, I think that I give Italy maybe a 15% chance of beating USA. I give Spain a 30% chance. I think if USA work together and they're firing on all cylinders, Spain have no chance. But this USA group, Spain have a good team. Like, I think Spain might have their strongest team because Spain haven't qualified for the World Cup yet. And like, Spain are in with a shot of, like, they could fuck about make the World Cup final. Like, they choked. They choked bad in Eurobasket. The only reason they're not already in the World Cup is because they absolutely, like, it is, look up the Eurobasket final between Spain and Belgium. Like, it is a generational choke. That's the only way you can describe it. Like, if you haven't seen much, it is a generational choke. Like, one of the biggest chokes ever in basketball. But I'm trying to look at the Spain roster, and like, this is not going to be an easy game for Team USA, which is one of these things where I'm like if you're looking at this team here, so they've got, like, Elena Buenavida is an interesting player to keep an eye out for, just because she's 21 years old, could be coming over. Raquel Carrera is probably coming over to the Liberty next year. But like, Cahorla can hoop. Maria Conde is really good. Like, drafted by the Valks in the expansion draft. Tore her Achilles, so didn't come over. Likely going to come over to WNBA this year and be a solid bench player, maybe starter for the Valks. Awafam is Awafam. Meg Gustafson is a WNBA player. Iana Martin is solid. Mariana Ortiz is legit. The good thing for them is that, like, Alba Torrens, I don't know if she's retired, if she's injured, I don't know exactly what's going on, but like, she's not there, which is big, which is really, really big. But it's a strong team. Like, that is a team that could beat America. Like, not saying they're the favorites. It just wouldn't surprise me because they need to qualify, if the game means more to them and they win. That wouldn't surprise me. That being said, with Caitlin Clark, her role, you see here, you're not going to come out there and be the star player. It's not how it's going to be for USA Basketball. You're going to have to find a way to help a team. You're going to find a way to compete to the best of your ability. My expectation is that Caitlin Clark is going pure floor general. That, like, her job is going to be get the ball up, pass the ball, be nothing like she is for the Fever. And I think a lot of people in a lot of these games are going to be a little bit disappointed. And the reality is that the USA team, like, I think she's going to be way better in the actual World Cup if USA have a full team, and in the Olympics, than this team. Why? Because because what Caitlin Clark's role on this Team USA is going to be is turn around, catch the ball, look up, launch. That is what her role is going to be in the Olympics. She is going to be the Magic Johnson for the Showtime USA. Angel Wilson, Breanna Steward, Fee, Angel, potentially. Copper, Young. These players are all faster than their matchups and are going to get stops. The ball hits. We saw what Chelsea Gray was able to do, and she's not even remotely close to the throw-ahead passer of Caitlin Clark. At times in the Olympics, Chelsea Gray wasn't even able to run to get the ball. She couldn't move. She legitimately couldn't move at the Olympics, which is hilarious. They nearly lost an Olympics because they brought one point guard who could not run. That being said, we got to talk about a little bit more about what Caitlin Clark's role is going to be. A lot of it's going to be throw aheads. So my expectation is you're going to see a lot of Caitlin Clark to Kiki, Caitlin Clark to Dearica Hamby on the break. I think you're going to see showtime in certain games. I think we're going to see the Caitlin Clark we know and love against Senegal, against New Zealand. And I don't know what way Team USA are going to go out against Spain, against Italy, because if Team USA gets stops, neither of these teams have the athleticism to keep up with Jackie Young, Kalia Copper, Dearica Hamby. Like Meg Gustafson does not have the athleticism to keep up with any of USA's bigs. Any of them. She's not big. She's not bigger. She's not strong. The only big they have that can compete with them is Awafam. And I think Awafam, actually, I was about to say it's a tough one, but it's like, I was personally there to watch Awafam give Monique Billings the business against Fenerbahce. I was courtside watching Awafam kill Monique Billings. So, like, Awafam has shown she can destroy Monique Billings. It was on this team. And again, if you want to say that doesn't prove doesn't mean anything, it's like, I was literally courtside watching it. So I'm telling you, she destroyed her. So it's going to be an interesting one there. But I think it just depends on what Team USA's tactic is. Like, do they play to their strengths? Like, what they have as the big advantage is the athleticism advantage. And it's like, can they impose themselves on a team? And if they're able to impose themselves on these teams, no one's coming close. Like, it's not even funny. Like, if they're able to impose themselves on Italy and impose themselves on Spain, it's like they don't stand a chance. But if Spain are able to move the ball side to side, run their sets, put a lot of players in situations where they're uncomfortable with, and consistently just chip away with 2 points here, 2 points there, for going on consistent. Like, this is how the international game works. Is it's not about massive runs. It's about over the course of a game. Can you trade baskets and then go on the occasional 4-0 run? Can you go on the occasional 6-2 run, an 8-3 run? Like, just a couple of those, and suddenly it's a game that if there was no scoreboard and you were just watching the game, and you're like, oh, this is a really tight game over the course of it. And you then see the scoreboard at the end, you're like, wait, this was a 40-point game? That's kind of how teams tend to win at the international level, especially with the European style. Like, it's very, I'll never forget watching like the Irish national team my age. Like, a bunch of guys that I grew up playing with, a bunch of guys that like a team that I felt like I should have made under 20s, and watching them play Greece, and there was no scoreboard, and I'm watching it, I'm like, shit, we're actually killing it. And I look at halftime on the FIBA website, we're down 26 points. I'm like, oh shit. But yeah, like, that's what's going to happen. And if Team USA allow, if they allow, what's the names, Spain and Italy to make it that type of a game, and like, Caitlin might struggle. I think it's going to be games where Caitlin struggles. Like, I don't think Caitlin averages more than 7 points per game. And that might be an overguess. Like, I think we're going to see the top scorer potentially being a Dearica Hamby. Because of the way, like, a lot of the time, it's who's going to get the ball in the PNR. I think we're going to see a lot of Hamby. I think we're going to see a lot of Kalia Copper. I think we're going to see a lot of slow it down Chelsea Gray ISOs. Like, I think she's going to be, like, it's going to be a tough one. And I think for Caitlin Clark, it's harder for Caitlin to find a role than it is for someone like a Paige. She's not plug and play. She's not. Like, Caitlin's not plug and play. Caitlin is a system right now. And Caitlin at this point in time is not going to be the USA system. The USA are not going to play a Caitlin Clark system. So I think it's going to be really interesting to see how she's able to adapt to not being the system. And I think at the WNBA level, you build your team around Caitlin, obviously. But we've seen with Team USA, even like Prime Iverson sucked for Team USA. Like, Prime Iverson was part of a team that got like a bronze medal. Like, a lot of these teams, a lot of these players that our systems struggle. Like, the reason why Luka's been so good for Slovenia is they just build the Luka system with worse players in Slovenia. The reason why certain players are so good at international level is because they're so, like, if they're really good, they're going to build a system around them, whereas Caitlin's not going to be the system. So I think it's going to be a lot easier for Paige to fit in, because Paige is plug and play. Paige is a fucking... We've called... Like, there are times where when she's playing for the Wings and they're losing games, like, I have to say, and plenty of people say, it's like, does she want to be the face of a franchise, or does she just want to be super role player like she was at UConn? And it's like, And she was for a lot of the time at UConn. Let's be real. And I mean, that was more of mentality, not her talent. Her talent is undeniable. But like playing for Team USA with the way they want you to play, saying super role player is probably a compliment. Whereas like I don't know how good Caitlin Clark is going to be as a role player. And I think with her not playing for 8 months, it's going to be a really tricky one. And like they're going to continue to bring her to every international tournament because let's be real, there's no excuse at all like for Sabrina over Caitlin. Like Sabrina is worse at pretty much every aspect of basketball than Caitlin Clark. And Caitlin Clark is like Sabrina's not plug and play either. Kelsey Plum is not necessarily plug and play, but she plays a role. I think when they get down to the main squad, when Fee, or I don't even think Fee and Caitlin, they don't fit each other that well. I don't think like they'll really play off each other. I think Stewie and Aja are going to play so well off Caitlin. I think when it's all said and done, Caitlin is going to be that floor general that's going to help Stewie and Aja easily drop 20 points each. Paige is going to be there on the wing. And then probably Jackie Young by the time the next Olympics is there. And you're going to have this Showtime USA team. But I don't think that happens now. And I think it can be a tough one because they do... It actually doesn't seem that much like they're playing Chelsea Gray at point guard. It seems they're playing Kelsey Plum at point guard. And it's going to be very interesting to see who's taking the ball up. Because if it's Jackie Young or Kelsey Plum starting, it probably won't be Caitlin or Paige. If it's Jackie Young or Kelsey Plum starting, you're looking at it and you're like, okay. Now this team's about to play up-tempo. When Caitlin comes in, they're going to get even faster. But if it's Chelsea Gray waddling up the court, you're like, oh shit, Caitlin might actually struggle in this. So, and it doesn't matter who they're against. So it's a really interesting one to see. My expectation is, I think everyone's expectation is coming off the bench. I think we all kind of know Caitlin's not going to be starting for this team, that she's going to be coming off the bench. That being said, it's not the end of the world if she's coming off the bench, is it? Is it? Like, Caitlin Clark coming off the bench, for me, makes very little difference when it's all said and done to her, to how she gets on. It's how she gets on the minute she plays. That is a big thing. And my expectation is we are going to see at least one completely and utterly garbage game from Caitlin Clark, where people on social media are going to be clowning her. I hope it's not the first game. I really hope it's not the first game. Because they're going to beat Senegal by 80 points. And if every point they lose less than 80 is because they chose not to win by 80. If Caitlin Clark has a bad game against Senegal, I don't care. They're going to win by 80. My hope is that she has a good game against Senegal. She can be as garbage as she wants against New Zealand. But the only game that I'm really concerned about is how she gets on against Spain, Italy. Like, she can afford to have, she's been out for 8 months, about one of those two being bad games. But if Caitlin, there would be a bit of a concern there if Caitlin stinks it up in those two games. But my expectation is that, like, look, Caitlin hasn't played ball in 8 months. And she hasn't played really healthy basketball in a year and a half. Like, it's been a year and 7 months since she played real basketball fully healthy. So it's funny people are being like, oh, you know, Paige is going to be better than Caitlin. It's like, yeah, no shit. If Caitlin Clark is one of the 5 or 6 best players on this team, that does not bode well for Unrivaled. All 11 other players played for Unrivaled. It does not bode well for Unrivaled if Caitlin Clark, after just not playing ball, ends up being one of the 5 best players in this team. And I think in a vacuum, Caitlin Clark's the best player on this. Like, at peak for peak at this point in time, Caitlin's the best player on this team. But given the circumstances and given how good everybody else is, a Caitlin Clark who I don't expect her to be above 80%. I think Caitlin Clark might take a month to get into it in the W season. I think she's going to be at most 80% right now. Like, even we've seen so many, like, we've seen it all the time, players taking a little bit of time to come back from injury, just rust. Caitlin Clark at 80%, I still think is better than a lot of players on this team. But if Caitlin Clark shows up and struggles a little bit, it's all about what it's about a lot of specific things and when she shows up and when she doesn't. But anyone expecting to see her come in and dominate and shoot from 30, maybe against Senegal, New Zealand, and I can't remember who else they're playing, Puerto Rico. Maybe against those three teams. Maybe, because they're going to win them all by 50, no matter what she does. I don't see her coming out against Italy and Spain chucking. I don't. I see her being a pure facilitator, and it's going to be interesting to see what lineups work, what lineups don't. I'm really interested to see how. I couldn't care less how she gets on with like Ryan Howard and stuff. I'm really talking about the actual like the Coppers. Maybe Ryan could make the next Olympics, but like I really want to see her and Jackie Young in the backcourt, how they look. I really want to see how her and Paige look. I couldn't care less about her and Chelsea Gray look, because let's be real, like they're not going to really see the floor together. But yeah, that's pretty much it, lads. I'll see you guys.